We're at the stall of TEREX, which is a US-based company, and I'm with Jaideep Shekhar, who's the Vice President and Managing Director of the company. Jaideep, pleasure to meet you.
Same here.
Okay, so let's talk about TEREX, the company. So let's start off by just giving me a general overview of TEREX, the products that you sell, the market segments that you have a big presence in.
So TEREX is roughly a $5.5 billion US headquartered corporation, right? It's primarily into three segments now, and we represent the materials processing segment here. Under materials processing segment, we have multiple businesses which we run. Crushing and screening, which comes under the aggregates business, washing, we have conveying business, we have lifting business under which we have the rough terrain cranes, we have the pick and carry cranes, we have the tower cranes.
Yeah.
Then we have the material handling business under which the conveying comes. We have an environmental business under which the TRX recycling systems, the ecotech businesses, and all of them come. So it's like a conglomerate, right? Running multiple businesses.
Right. Yeah.
We run all these businesses separately, although under the one TEREX umbrella.
Right.
So each of the business have their own sales team members, own dealers, own go-to-the-market strategy.
Yeah.
At the back end, we have common support, parts, service, and aftermarket, but all the businesses go direct, separately into the market as different businesses.
Oh, okay.
So what you see here
Yeah.
is a combination of products from various of our businesses, which is under one TEREX stand.
Yeah. Because we're sitting here in the midst of two really complicated looking machines.
Yeah.
What are they? What do these machines do?
So this is our newest launch from the EvoQuip business line.
Yeah.
And the EvoQuip business line specializes into smaller size track mounted crushing and screening equipment,
Right.
which can go into hilly terrain, where we go into areas wherein the bridges are too small for transportation, as well as they are big into the C&D recycling, right? So this is the impactor crusher, which is getting very popular with the recycling segment in the country.
Right.
And it's running into a couple of applications, including slag crushing.
Yeah.
And this is something which is very unique to the Indian market. Not many companies have this. So this is a new launch from our side.
Right.
Then on the back, what you see here is the power screen hybrid. So this essentially comes as a transport engine. So the engine which you see on the machine is a pretty small engine,
Yeah.
CAT's small engine, which probably takes 10 liters an hour. So the beauty of it is that this machine can be plugged with the direct electric power. And then this engine only operates when you are trying to move the tracks.
Okay.
So when customers need mobility but
Yeah.
want electrically driven machines,
Right.
this gives the right combination, because what happens, say if you have the big engine, takes 25 liters an hour,
Right.
runs 12 hours a day, you are running 300 liters a day.
Yeah.
In this one, the small engine only runs when you are moving the machine and tracking the machine.
Right.
So you can say maybe at the max in a 12-hour shift, you will run the machine for an hour, you will track it.
Yeah.
So you only use 10 liters of fuel. So 300 liters of fuel versus 10 liters of fuel, and the balance 11 hours it can run on the electric power.
Right. Right.
So this is again a very unique concept which nobody else has got in India at the moment.
Right.
So we have got the power screen range, the jaw crusher being displayed. We have the cone crusher being displayed in the Finlay side.
Yeah.
And then on the back side, you see from our MPS range. Again, power screen and Finlay are two different brands. EvoQuip is a different brand. They will have all their own distribution network. They don't go through the common.
As you mentioned, under the three verticals. That
Yeah, they will be all under different sales teams, different go-to-market strategy,
Right.
different distribution network. Everything will be different.
Yeah.
And then the MPS machine, which you see, the static machines, that is a business which we go directly, because that's a business which is more to do with concept selling in terms of getting your customers different solutions, tailor-made solutions. So that's something which doesn't really go very well with the distribution network. You
Right.
need the OEM to be there in the
Yeah.
front. So that's another machine displayed from there. And then on the back, you see the Frana,
Yes.
which is our pick and carry crane. This is a new launch again, which is the 25 tonner, which is we are displaying it for the first time. And this again, you will see the pick and carry cranes from various brands across every nook and corner of the country.
So quite a lot of new products that you have on display, and which should be exciting.
Yeah.
And obviously, a lot of your customers have probably heard about it, but this will be a chance for them to come and see it, and maybe not see it in operation, but they certainly
See
have a chance to
have a
to
look and
at it,
feel,
look
yeah.
at it, and all that kind of stuff. Now, it's interesting. You earlier talked about recycling. Now, the way people look at recycling may not be the way that you do. So, talk to me about what recycling means for you and your industry.
So we are into different types of recycling business. So
Yeah.
one of the business which we are is into the municipal solid waste,
Okay.
right? And that's a lot of these machines go into the municipal solid waste. The screeners, particularly of the power screen and the Finlay range, are very popular in the recycling and the screening of the municipal solid waste.
Okay.
The machine which you see at your back is very popular in the recycling of the construction and demolition waste.
Okay.
And then we have machines which are very much, I will say, focused on the municipal solid waste and RDF production, which are used in the cement industry.
Okay.
Those are the machines which we have not displayed here because this is more like a construction and mining show.
Yes.
And for that, we participate in IFAT, which is also run by MMI.
Yes.
And that is where we displayed it in October.
Right.
But
Yes.
here, what you see are machines which are mostly used in the construction and demolition waste,
Yes.
as well as the screening of the municipal solid waste.
So when you say when you talk about the recycling, is like so you'll crush up debris into smaller. I mean, is that
Yeah,
what
so there are
recycling means?
different ways of it. So on the construction and demolition waste, you will crush up the debris,
Yeah.
and then again screen it to make it useful, forms.
Right. Right.
In the municipal solid waste, you don't have to crush; you need to screen and shred.
Right.
So you will screen out, and then you can take out, say, the stones which are there, which
Yeah.
can go into the construction and road building.
Right.
One portion comes as plastics, which is called the refuse derived fuel (RDF),
Yes.
and then one portion comes as the inert material, which goes into the fertilizer, the organic material.
Right. Okay.
So then what happens by screening out the municipal solid waste, you get three products. One is like, which goes into the construction.
Yes. Yeah.
One goes into the fertilizer or your natural fertilizer.
Yeah.
And one goes as a refuse derived fuel (RDF), which is then further shredded to be used as a source of energy in cement plants.
Which is, I mean, that's a huge differentiator, if
Correct.
I may use the right use that word, for what the products that you offer. And so, just to come back to the when you're crushing construction debris, is there a percentage of what has to be genuinely be disposed of and what can be reused?
No, it depends upon like all
I
your
guess, yes.
all your demolition waste, all your municipal solid, every waste is unique.
Yeah.
You cannot have the same consistency.
No, correct.
Unlike a fresh raw material, which you are coming out of a mine or a quarry, which
Right.
is very consistent for a certain period of time.
Yes.
As you go down the depths, obviously things will change.
Yeah.
The waste is never consistent because it may be mixed with wood, it may be having more steel rebars and all.
Yeah.
So different kind of machines then has to be used.
Right.
Now
yeah.
this impactor can be very useful in the construction and demolition waste when you are demolition buildings and all.
Yeah.
I'll say like fresh demolition waste with less wood and all. If you have more wood and more contaminants, we can propose different machines for that
Right,
whole
right.
process.
Oh, okay.
It's never one machine which does all the work. This is a series of machines,
Right,
so
yeah.
which does the whole work. Yeah.
So, were you at bauma 2 years ago? You were there
We
because
were there, yeah.
I remember meeting you.
Yeah.
Actually. So 2 years has been it's I mean the show only happens once every 2 years, but I guess it's a long enough window for you to see a change in the industrial ecosystem, in the general economy of the country, and certainly in your market segment. What has been the biggest changes that you have noticed over the last 2 years?
So, I mean, the last edition when we had the VC India, I mean, obviously at that point of time, everybody was struggling, not only us, with
Yes.
the supply chain issues because we had just come
It
out
was
of the
just
COVID years.
Post-COVID, yeah.
Post-COVID, there was significant supply chain issues, creating delays, significant cost increases were there at that point of time. The market was strong at that point of time also. I think the market has been very strong this year, especially the domestic Indian market. The global market has been a little bit subdued because of the weakness in Europe. But the Indian market has been very strong for us, especially. And we have seen in the last 2 years that the supply chain issues have really eased out, not fully gone, but has been much better than we were probably 2 years back when
Right.
everybody was coming out of COVID.
Yeah. So, does a lot of your manufacturing happen in India, or do you import in these machines from the US? And similarly with design, is there any initiatives that come out of India which then go into the global ecosystem within TEREX?
So what you see here, all the machines are manufactured in India, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'll say 95% of the machines which we sell in India are manufactured in India. There will be
Right.
only very few machines which are currently being imported. I'll
Yeah.
say less than 5% of the total value of our sales But then again, as we see the market growing, we localize them and start building it here.
Right.
So the same machine, may not 5% of the machines which are imported last year probably will be localized now. There'll be new machines, new markets which we have entered. Those will be imported this year. Probably there'll be a localization plan for next year.
Right.
But India is a hub for TEREX. It's a big global hub, big manufacturing hub,
Yeah.
a big research and development hub. So we have close to 250 engineers in Bangalore who are working for the TEREX global factories and sites.
Right.
We have a large engineering team in India in our own factory which designs all these products. So when we started our journey in India 15 years back, it was more global to India, and then it became India to India, and then we are at a stage wherein it's more like India to the global world. Obviously, I can't deny that we still keep on getting a lot of support and guidance and technical know-how transfer
Sure. Yeah.
from our global companies.
Yes.
But then we also are now making products which is manufactured and designed in India
Right.
for the global markets.
So here we are at bauma CONEXPO India in 2024. What are your hopes for this show?
I mean, we are looking forward to be a successful show. All the machines which we have displayed are new launches. We generally try not to display the same machine twice.
Sure.
So for us, it's quite exciting for having the customers come and take a look on all these new launches. And given this, the state of the economy, we believe that the next 3 days are going to be very, fruitful for us.
Yes.
So yeah, we look forward to more footfalls and more customer interactions.